brain. The nervous system. The nervous system controls everything we do. This system is composed of brain, spinal cord, and all of the nerves present in our body. The brain is the control center of the body, and the spinal cord is the major channel for all the messages traveling in our body. The nerves carry the messages so that the brain can interpret them and we can take the necessary action. The nervous system is a complex, sophisticated system that regulates and coordinates body activities. It is divided into two major components as central nervous system consisting of the brain and the spinal cord, peripheral nervous system consisting of all other neural elements. The peripheral nervous system can be further divided into the voluntary nervous system and the autonomous nervous system. The central nervous system. The central nervous system is composed of the brain and the spinal cord. Brain is present in a bony structure known as skull. The space occupied by the brain is usually known as cranial cavity or cranium. The brain is surrounded by three protective coverings of connective tissue besides the bony cranium. Three membranes, collectively called the meninges, provide protection by separating the brain's soft tissue from the rigid wall of the skull. In addition to the protection of the layers, cerebrospinal fluid surrounds the brain and cushions it as well. It also provides some nourishment for the brain. The spinal cord is connected to the brain. From the brain, the spinal cord extends down to the middle of the back and passing through the spinal column, which is formed by small bones known as vertebrae. While present in spinal column, the spinal cord is surrounded by a clear fluid called cerebrospinal fluid that acts as a cushion as it may get hurt from the hard bony texture of vertebrae. The brain and spinal cord are referred to as the central nervous system, whilst the nerves connecting the spinal cord to the body are referred to as the peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system is composed of the cranial nerves and spinal nerves. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. The cranial nerves originate from the brain and go to the organs present in the head region. There are 31 pairs of spinal nerves. The spinal nerves come off the spinal cord and travel out to the organs which are below the head region. The nervous system works in conjunction with another system, that is the endocrine system. The nervous system includes the brain, spinal cord, sense organs, and nerves, while the endocrine system operates through certain chemicals. The chemicals are hormones which are released by a set of endocrine glands present within the body. Examples of endocrine glands are salivary glands, sweat glands, sebaceous glands, the pancreas, etc. To understand the relation between the nervous system and the endocrine system, see the animation. Do you know why we feel hungry? We want food when our body needs energy. The command to feel hungry starts from the endocrine glands of digestive system. The glands start secreting certain hormones that cause hunger pangs. Hunger pangs are contractions in the stomach which make you feel hungry. The eyes see the food, brain registers this information, and a series of actions are taken by us to fulfill our desire to eat. Appropriate activities in the nervous system instruct the relevant muscles in the hands and the fingers to pick up the food and put it into the mouth. A hormone produced by our digestive system called cholecystokinin signals our brain when we have eaten sufficiently. The signals from the hunger center in the brain indicate a sense of fullness and we stop eating. After a series of digestive processes, food is absorbed into the bloodstream to fulfill the energy requirement. This example illustrates that the nervous system and the endocrine system work together as a team to control and coordinate all our activities. Our brain is a marvelous organ indeed. It is a complex and sophisticated organ which controls all our actions, voluntary as well as involuntary. To control our body actions, it receives information, analyzes them, and accordingly guides us to take necessary actions. The cells of the nervous system are quite fragile and need extensive protection, for which we have been provided enough coverings around the tissue. The brain is divided into three regions: the forebrain, the midbrain, and the hindbrain. The forebrain consists of the cerebrum, thalamus, and hypothalamus. The midbrain is the smallest region of the brain, but it plays a vital role in functioning of the brain. The midbrain controls many important functions such as the visual and auditory systems as well as eye movement. Third part, the hindbrain, comprises of pons, cerebellum and medulla. Forebrain. The forebrain consists primarily of the cerebrum and structures hidden beneath it. It is the thinking part of the brain and controls voluntary actions. It controls touch, smell, hearing, taste, sight, mental activities like thinking, learning, memory, emotions, etc. The cerebrum is divided into two hemispheres, the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere, through a deep furrow. The two hemispheres look mostly symmetrical, yet it has been shown that each side functions slightly different than the other. The two hemispheres are formed of the wrinkled outer layer of grey matter known as cerebral cortex. Beneath the cerebral cortex, there is an inner core of white matter. Each hemisphere is divided into 4 sections: the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the temporal lobe, and the occipital lobe. This is the cerebral cortex. It is the layer of cells present over the cerebrum. It is crumpled and folded, forming numerous convolutions and crevices. The cerebral cortex is divided into lobes, each having a specific function. This is frontal lobe. It is associated with the reasoning, planning, emotions, problem solving, and body movements. Next is parietal lobe. This lobe contains neurons that receive sensory information from the skin and other sense organs. This area is occipital lobe. The lobe is associated with visual processing, as its name suggests. This is temporal lobe. It is associated with perception and recognition of auditory stimuli, memory, and speech. Hindbrain consists of pons, cerebellum, and medulla oblongata. The pons is present above the medulla and also acts as a connecting tract. The cerebellum is an enlarged structure placed under the cerebrum. It is in fact shaped like a small brain, and it is primarily responsible for coordinating involuntary movement concerned with balance, equilibrium, and muscular coordination. Medulla oblongata, also called medulla. This is the lowest part of the brain. It is connected by the pons to the midbrain, and it continues with the spinal cord. The medulla has breathing center, cardiovascular center, and control on gastric secretion. The spinal cord is the most important structure between the body and the brain. It is a long, thin, tubular bundle of nervous tissue that extends from the brain and runs down the back. There are some set of spinal nerves that branch off the spinal cord and pass through a hole in each of the vertebrae called the foramen. These nerves carry information from the spinal cord to the rest of the body and from the body back up to the brain. In all, there are 31 pairs of spinal nerves which branch off from the spinal cord. The nervous system is divided into 2 major divisions: central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system is the division of the nervous system containing all the nerves that lie outside of the central nervous system. With the help of your peripheral nerves, you are able to carry out voluntary and involuntary actions. If you pick up a mug, clap your hands, or kick a ball, you are performing voluntary actions. In all these cases, you are conscious of what you are doing. In contrast, your heart beats and your digestive system works without your conscious control. Such involuntary actions are regulated by your autonomic nervous system. The autonomic part of your peripheral nervous system ensures that all your internal organs and glands function smoothly. Your autonomic nervous system controls all the involuntary actions in the human body and is divided into two parts, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. Sympathetic nervous system. This part of the autonomous nervous system that normally functions to produce adjustments in the activity of organs as per the need. For example, during running, there is an increased demand for oxygen by the body. This is fulfilled by an increased breathing rate and increased heart rate. The sympathetic nervous system works to increase the breathing rate and the heart rate in this case. In short, stimulation of the sympathetic branch of the autonomic nervous system prepares the body for emergencies. Parasympathetic nervous system. This part of the autonomous nervous system slows down the activity of an organ and thus has a calming effect. This is facilitated by the parasympathetic nervous system. It can be said that the parasympathetic nervous system helps in conservation of energy by bringing the organs' actions to normal after they have been altered by sympathetic stimulation.